Well, hey there, everybody. It's Chris from the Rate the Record podcast, and yes, it's that time of the week again. You know what it is. It's the new music review. That's right. So 3 new songs I got for you. If you haven't heard them yet, you can check them out with me. If you have heard them, let me know what you think of them down below. Regardless, we're going to listen to them today, so why not get started? The void is here now, so that means I can start filling it with images of albums. Okay, so first up we have a project called SSVU, which is actually a collaboration between the Silversun Pickups and Butch of Garbage. SSVU is actually a 2-song EP, and one of the titles alone made me want to review this song. It's called David Lynch Has a Painting Made of Fly's Eyes. Not to give too much of a spoiler, but when they say don't judge a book by its cover, you should really adhere to that. Alright, so take an obscure song title such as this, and then imagine what you would do with the music with this one. This song does about 3 different things, and I don't think they really fit at all into one another. You have a lot of indie and art rock tones going through this one with touches of what I can only assume is supposed to be like 80s metal of some sort. I don't know, it's really strange. There's not much in the way of exciting things happening in this track. I mean, the pacing keeps it lively enough, but unfortunately that's not enough to keep the song interesting. Even with the quiet layering of sounds and textures that you hear in the background, things I actually usually like and compliment during the podcast, it's just not doing much this time around. Even the chorus and refrain are a little annoying on this track, and that's saying a lot concerning the chorus and refrain are supposed to, like, you know, draw you in. They're supposed to sell you on the track. Not this time around for me, unfortunately. Catchy and earwormy, yeah, I guess so, but ultimately uninteresting. Overall, this song is forgettable, and I would actually be glad to not come back to this one. And that's really disappointing considering that I like Silversun Pickups and I like Garbage. So then having 2 of them combined, you think that would be good, but I guess 2 positives make a negative, 2 rights make a wrong. I don't know. It just... I'm let down. So next up we have a blues rock, stoner rock type band, All Them Witches out of Nashville, Tennessee. They just released a new single a couple of weeks back, and as part of what they're referring to as a baker's dozen type deal going on, where they're releasing 1 single every month for the entire year of 2022, and that single happens to be called Hush, I'm on TV. The entire track is produced in this raw, bassy kind of tone that actually serves the track pretty well. It really fills out the soundscape really well, and because there's not like a lot of high tones or anything like that, it actually comes out feeling warm and pleasant on the ears. The layering in this track is great. There's actually a lot to pull from, despite the fact that there's like not a super whole lot going on. And what makes it even better is that there's nothing too chaotic going on either. And I mean, you wouldn't really expect, like, you know, technical math rock symphony coming out of something that's called stoner rock. So it's pretty easy to lose yourself in a track like this as it just kind of flows nicely. So you catch on to this one pretty easy. It's pretty good. I really love the raw style of stoner rock and also most genres that kind of do it properly. There's a psych-inspired kind of guitar solo in the middle that sounds really messy and grimy, but I think it's great. Just a nice, honest kind of sound that matches the mood and atmosphere of the entire track. The vocals are really low-key in this track too, but again, it just fits that mood and atmosphere of the song, so I definitely dig it. This song has energy without being super energetic. It has life without being over the top. It's exciting while being kind of lethargic. I mean, does any of this make sense? It's all positive, by the way. Overall, I really dig this track. It's pretty grungy with some good slow rock vibes to it, a good time all around. I say, check it out. And finally, we have Metallica, and I really shouldn't need to introduce this band at all. They were known for thrash in the 80s, the Black Album in the 90s, and of course, who can forget that memorable beer keg snare drum in the 2000s. So by now, you've likely heard their latest track called Lux AEterna, although through my tool review of this album Anima, that AE symbol is supposed to be A, so it should be Lux AEterna, but whatever, call it what you want, I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to call it Lux AEterna. That's their latest single. Let's check it out now. So they're really taking a step back in time with this track too. They're definitely stepping back a little more into their thrash rock days, but only as much as they can do in 2022, considering that their thrash heydays was about 35 plus years ago. So really the last Metallica album that I ever checked out was Death Magnetic back in 2008, and I'm not so sure about their 2016 album Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I haven't heard that one, but the production in this one, or at least this track, not even the album coming up, but this track, sounds a lot better, far more improved than the previous tracks or albums that I've heard, at least within the last couple of decades. Saint Anger had this raw production feel that I actually kind of liked, but obviously that snare drum destroyed absolutely everything. And then Death Magnetic was produced to hell and back. Like, it was awful, but this one actually has a good clean production, so I'm behind it so far. I could make some sort of pass-off joke about how the song sounds pretty good for a bunch of guys in their 60s, but really it sounds good regardless. And considering that James Hetfield, lead singer and guitarist, just recently this past year, May 2022 in Brazil, live on stage, spoke to the crowd about struggling with his self-confidence and that he didn't think that he could do this anymore. So the fact that that happened and then they turned around and released a song like this, it's really good to hear that kind of turnaround and have something like this out. Because the song is intense, it's energetic, it's a lot of fun, probably one of the better, if not best tracks they've released in quite a long time. James himself sounds great on vocals still too, I don't think anything much has changed from that. Considering that he's what 58 or 59 now, his voice still sounds great. And yes, Kirk Hammett does have his wheelie wah guitar solo in there. I know a lot of people complained during Saint Anger that there was no guitar solos. It's just I didn't have an opinion on it one way or another, but it's definitely here, don't worry, and yeah, it sounds cool. It matches the mood. And just going back for a minute about the mental health thing with James Hetfield, I'll advocate for mental health any day of the week. So I'm proud to see a guy who's already a legend in the industry be so forthcoming about this kind of thing and actually confess their true feelings and issues and everything like that on this topic. So quite literally, I'm proud to see this kind of behavior come out of him and then turn around and be able to release a song that's actually pretty damn good altogether. Overall, yes, it's a legitimately great track. It's not their best, but it's their best in a long time. Let's leave it at that. High energy, high octane, good length, good production. That's a yes from me. And that's all I have this week for you for the new music review. Thank you very much for tuning in and checking it out. Did you listen to these songs? If you did, let me know down in the comments below. I'm very curious to know of what you thought of these songs as well. You've heard my opinion. I want to hear yours. This is a conversation we're trying to have here, so please let me know. I'm very, very, very curious. I'm sorry, is that a little too curious? Don't forget, you can also let us know over on our social media pages at Rate the Record Podcast, over on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're all over there, so you can let us know your opinions over there as well, and just follow us generally on those social medias as well. The more the merrier, we're looking for more, so hey, be part of that. And of course, that's all found at ratetherecord.ca, so visit there today. All social media links, all streaming links, everything you need there for you. Did I say streaming links? Yes, I did, because we do have a podcast. If you didn't know, the Rate the Record Podcast, hence the name of the channel here. Yes, we are a podcast, and we release new episodes every Monday. This past Monday was episode 59. We actually had a request. Yes, we do listener request albums too. For the band Three Teeth and their album Meta Wars, so that was episode 59. Go check that out now. Industrial metal. Was it good? Was it bad? Tune in. Check it out. Hear our opinions, and once again, we want to hear yours. But that's all I got. I'm done now. I'm finished rambling, I should say. I'm starting to lose my wording here, so that means I am done. Once again, thank you very much for checking out today's episode. So we'll see you next Monday for the podcast. Until then, go listen to some awesome music. Take care, friends.